designers. I'm going to put us through a little tutorial today, basically working through how to do our magazine cover project with PIXLR. Okay, we were all there for the Photoshop one, so you should be able to do that, finish, complete the Photoshop one. So we're going to go through it for PIXLR. For those of you who have your Chromebooks or who have PIXLR loaded and don't have access to Photoshop. Okay, so here we go. Let's go to our display. Okay, so I'm going to go to Google. I'm going to go up to my browser. You guys can't see the browser, but I'm going to type in PIXLR.com, and it will load this PIXLR account. Okay. Once I get PIXLR, you should be, or she'll come up here to log in. I'm already logged in, so I'm going to go to PIXLR E, which is our PIXLR editor. Once you get your PIXLR editor, it'll load it like this and has some things that I've been messing with. Okay, I'm going to go to Create New, and I'm just going to open up a generic one. Doesn't really matter right now. Now, the one thing about PIXLR is it works in pixels as opposed to inches like Photoshop does. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click Full HD. Great. And then I'm going to go up here to File, Open, and I'm going to start opening my images. Now, first, we need to have our images. So what I'm going to do for my magazine cover, kind of like I did in class, I'm going to go to my Google. I'm going to click on Captain America. And then with Captain America, I'm going to find an image. Remember, we want to try to find a high resolution image, but I also want to find something that I'm going to be able to fit with my title. So what I'm going to do is I'll click on this one. I'm not going to select this image. I'm going to click on this so I can click on a larger image. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go Save Image As. And I have my Marvel Infinity War. I'm going to save this to my desktop for right now. You could eventually transfer it over to Google Drive, but I'm going to go to like my desktop, or I'll go to like my downloads folder. Now, the other thing to notice right now, with this image I'm loading, it's a WEBP file. Photoshop mainly doesn't accept WEBP files. It does JPEGs, PNGs, stuff like that, but I think because this is a web-based program, it does allow these to work. So I'm going to take my Marvel Infinity War Captain America. I'm going to press Save. That is now saved. I'm going to go back to my PIXLR, and I'll go File, Open Image. I'll go to my downloads. There you are, and I will press Open. And then you'll see that it'll open it up. Okay, perfect. That's why I said that the canvas size at the beginning doesn't really matter, because we're going to adjust the canvas size once we get into here. Okay. Now that we're here, we see that a lot of the stuff looks a lot like Photoshop. We have our toolbar on the left-hand side over here. It's kind of similar to Photoshop. Over on the right-hand side, we see that we have our layers. Not really as detailed as Photoshop is, but it works. And then our history is always open. It's down here. This is all of our moves that we do. We also have our navigation bar up here. And then we have our tabs, which is, again, kind of like Photoshop. From what I've found, quick keys aren't necessarily the same. There are a couple that are similar. The undos, the copy pastes, those still work. But adjusting the size of our brush with our right and left brackets is not the same. So, first problem that I have with this picture is what? It's a landscape picture, not a portrait picture. Remember, we want our magazine cover set up in portrait. So off to the left hand side, this fifth tool down is our crop tool, very similar to Photoshop. I will click right here. I will drag in and resize this canvas to my magazine size. Now I don't want Captain America right in the middle. I want to have him off to the side a little bit. By doing this, I now set up the flow of my image to be down the right hand side, and I'll put my title up here so it's almost like he's looking at the title. Now, in Photoshop, we get the spot, we double click. We're not going to do that here because I've done that a couple times and it just puts it away. So I'm going to go right here, resize it back to where I want it. And instead of doing that, I'm just going to press enter on my keyboard. Pressing enter goes ahead and crops it for you. My background is set and I'm ready to go. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add text for my title. Okay, remember in class when we did this, we put the title up here and had it fall behind Captain America's head. I can click Z for my zoom tool, or I can click down here on the bottom of my toolbar for my zoom tool, but I will click Z and I'll zoom in just to give me a little bit more to work with. Okay, text now, just like in Photoshop over here, there is your T tool. I'm going to come up here and this will look a little different. I click on the canvas, it says, do you want to add a text layer? I press yes or add, and then you see what will happen is this will create a new layer for me over here on the right hand side. I'm going to click this to adjust this layer. I'm going to double click to edit it, and I will type my text that I want to use. My move tool still works, but you see I can't really read it. With my text tool, I will double click, and up here in the toolbars I have all my changes that pop up. I can adjust the color. You see right here, I can click on this, but I can also still take my cursor and drag to the picture, and it will color drop a color from the picture, which I could also use to my benefit. Let's say I go with something a little bluish. I'll go with that for now. Okay, I press OK. I come up to the top here with my font, and I can adjust my font. Now it has some really kind of interesting typefaces on here because they're specific to the program itself, but they work all right. Let me use this Daddy Day typeface. See if this works. That works all right. And now I cannot, at least I have not found so far, how you can adjust a type. So I will just come here to my size and I will scale up my text where I feel it should fit correctly. And I need to also expand my box by clicking and dragging on it. So now I can fit this where I would like. There you go. I have now my Marvel title. I have my Captain America. Now, I remember in class when we did this, I did two different approaches to putting your text behind your image. And one of the approaches was to take Captain America to take the text itself, to turn it into an image and erase the text. Well, I haven't been able to find a way to do that easily here. I have my Marvel text, which I cannot erase with my eraser. That just erases the Captain America in the background. But I cannot. Let's undo that, please. Ooh. There you go. I haven't been able to do it here. Whenever I click on my eraser up on that, it doesn't allow me to. So how we would end up doing this is we do it like we did, or do it in the more advanced version where we duplicate this, put it on top, and then we cut it out. Here's the process for that. I'm going to take my background layer right here, and then off to the left hand side there's these three dots, and those are basically your layer settings. My background is named background. Has no blending mode on it. This is that multiply, and you can change the colors and change the transparency, but we won't worry about that right now. Here's our opacity, which we've played with before. If it's locked or unlocked, and there's some choices down here. I'm going to click on the one that says duplicate layer. Now I have my background copy on the right, as you can see, and I have my background on the bottom. I'm going to take my copy, I'm going to drag it up above my title. Okay. Now that I have this image, and the image is pretty highly contrasted, meaning the back is really light, the picture of Captain America himself is pretty dark, I'm going to use the tool that we call our magic wand over here. I'm going to come to my picture in the background, I'm going to click, and you see it does my job for me, and it selects all of that background. And again, the reason this works really well is because there's a high contrast between the background and the foreground. Now that I have that, I can come over and grab my eraser. And with my eraser selected, I can click and drag and start erasing this top Captain America. If I turn off the visibility by clicking this little checkbox on the right hand side of both my layers, you see that I'm really just going like this and erasing the background of the Captain America. If I turn the visibility back on, we see that the text pops out. And now I can come through and go like this. Like I said before, I cannot adjust the size of my brushes by my brackets, but I can, by bracket keys, but I can come up here and click and then adjust the size and the softness. Softness kind of works backwards, but it still works. I can make this a little bit larger, and then it can come through and erase all of this. Once I get this done, I have this all selected, so I have to deselect it, which means I will go up to select. I will go down to deselect. Now it's ready to go. Now, see there's some little white spots around here. I can still clean those up if I'd like to. Make sure this looks nice and clean. So I can just zoom in. I'll bring my eraser. My pixel size are pretty large. And I can just come in really nice and close on this background layer and try to cut those out. So let me do this one more time. Take the softness of my brush down a little bit and make it harder. Take the size of my brush down a bit as well. And just come through and kind of get rid of some of those white spots. Really blend that away so I can read that background. Now it doesn't look as photoshopped as it did before. Any little pieces of white between the Captain America image and the text yourself. You have to be very careful though, because this program is not as precise as Photoshop in terms of controlling all the little individual pixels. Okay, go back to my zoom. Let's see if I hold Alt or FM. It will not allow me to do that. So my quick key doesn't work, so I have to click minus, and then I can come here. The next step's pretty straightforward. I need to come and add the rest of my text. I will do that very, very quickly and not well. I'll click here. Let's see. Add my text box. Yes. Here's my next text. I will add assemble. I will take that assemble. I will make it all caps. And then I will bring this down here. Double click. I will make the size of my type smaller. Oh, so up here I don't have my type box because this tool is still selected. I have to select my type tool. Now I can change it. Take my size down. I will stretch out my text box, and I'll go ahead and change this color, and I'll make this color more of a red tone, not that red. I'll make it brighter. That's not going to work, but we'll see how that goes. I told you it wasn't going to be good. I'm going to take my size down a little bit more, and this typeface definitely isn't working. So let me go and change this and make it something a little stronger. That is not correct. That one might be all right. Let's see if I can find something else. Father and son. Nah, I'm going to stay with this Emery one. Saves time as well. I'm going to come here. I'm going to go to Assemble as my primary text. And then I can add some little effects here. If I click over on here, let me see. Locked, unlocked, merge, flatten. No. My effects. Oh, here they are up here. Up at the very top, we have our settings, and then we have our styles. I can go background, but I can also click on adding an outline, a stroke. I can also add a shadow if I would like instead. I can lighten up my shadow. But I will, for this point, go with my outline. I will change the color of my outline to a white. I'll adjust the size a little bit more. And then I'll be ready to go. Okay, so there we go. We have our title, we have our image, we have our text. Make sure that you have everything on here that you need. Our project member needs a primary image, it needs a title, it needs a primary text, needs secondary text. You do not need a secondary image. And I need to be able to see your flow. As soon as you're done with this, folks, you'll go File, you'll go Save. And remember, our name for this file will be your last name. I have caps lock on. And it will be magazine cover. Here are your file formats you can save it as. I would just save mine as a JPEG. It's totally fine. Take your quality up as high as you can get it. And then you will press download. What will happen with this download is it will save it to your computer. Mine's saving down here in my downloads folder, which you kind of just off screen. Mine's saving down there. Hey, there's an ad. Yay. And then what you will do from there is I will go to my Google Classroom. You should all have access to this so far. So I will go to my graphic design. 1. Here is my classwork. I will go to class drive folder. I will then click on my class period 3 or period 4. I will go to turn in. I will go to magazine cover JPEG. Here's a whole bunch of them already turned in. And then I will go, where's my load, upload, right click, upload files. Here's my Reynoso magazine cover. It's titled correctly. It's saved as a JPEG. I press open. Loads the file. It gets me right here. There it is. I am turned in. I am good. And now I'm ready for Mr. Reynoso to grade my stuff. Okay? That's how this is going, folks. Hope that all makes sense. And with that being said, I will see y'all later.